Oh.
So we're literally recording right now?
Yes.
Hey, and is it streaming? No, I don't see YouTube.
Not on. Well.
Oh, you're just saying we're recording it. We're not.
No, we're streaming on YouTube. So.
Oh.
But it's not going to show up
No,
on
it's the
Twitter. That's the
WIP.
point I'm making. Yeah.
It's fucked up.
So we're live.
Hey. Hello to the live. We are in a new studio. Look at this.
Yes,
This is pretty
this
cool.
is what we teased last week.
Yes.
It's definitely very much a work in progress.
Yes.
Yes. So we should just start?
Yeah.
We have a producer.
Tucker in
Yeah, we have
studio.
Tucker
This
over here.
never happens. Used to
Have
just
you seen
and
the
me.
different video cuts yet?
No.
Ready?
No, I didn't.
Go ahead,
cut.
show 'em.
We get cuts. Oh, we got. Oh, close. Hello.
Ready?
Where's the camera? It's over there somewhere. Oh, look at you. Oh, I'm in this camera.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're in
hello.
that one, I'm in this
Hey
one.
there. Okay.
So now, like, if I'm dropping a great take,
you can just turn. You're like your TV guy. Hello.
and then we have
Yes.
producer Tucker, I think, too.
Ooh,
So
producer
everyone
Tucker.
can see producer Tucker.
I like that.
All right.
There he is.
There we go.
All
So
right.
it's like a radio show.
Just make sure his mic's off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding.
All right.
I'm kidding.
So I guess we should just start up. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're recording. Let's
We're
roll.
streaming? All right.
All right. All right, let's see it. Ready?
Yes.
Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino app. We're in a new studio right now.
Let me tell you something.
The Go Bird Studio. I know it's got other uses, but we're just going to call it the Go
It's the Go Bird Studio.
It's a Go Bird Studio.
It's a Go
I
Bird
mean,
Studio.
you know, it was built on our backs.
Yes, exactly. They made
Yes.
this for us. As you
They
can
did
see
it
with all
for
these
us.
cool
They were like,
things.
you know what? We just got to build a really nice studio for Elliot and James.
Well, think about it this way, and we always like to credit our listeners. When we last year during the playoff run did video every single day, it was awesome. We had a great time. The video quality itself
It wasn't great.
wasn't great.
We can be honest.
And they
We-
said,
we
look
can
at all
get
these
it.
interactions. Look at all these people following. And now look at us. So if you're listening to this on the pod, first of all, you know we love you. But check the YouTube out because it is cool to see. Like it
looks much
This is
better.
one of the more
Yeah.
professional things I've ever done.
And I didn't think about fixing my hair up. Look at this. I'm like,
But your
look
hair-
at the difference
you're
between
lucky.
Elliot's hair and my hair right now.
See, but
It's
you're
like,
lucky. Like your hair looks good naturally.
It looks okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks just good naturally. Whereas I feel like my hair, it would not. Be a
I
good
feel like I've
situation.
never seen your hair naturally.
I feel like once or twice you
Once
might
or
have,
twice.
like if I'm
Like
like
if
out
you're
of the
walking
house,
over the- yeah.
once or twice. But I'll also say, as a creature of habit, it's weird being.
So
in there.
that's was
It's
about
a
to be my
little-
next
yeah,
line. My
yeah,
next
yeah,
line was
yeah.
like I always feel so comfortable when we're recording.
I know.
Like, it just feels like
Well,
such
Tucker's
a natural.
over there.
Yeah, like we have
Yeah.
someone in the room with us. No offense. Of all people, Tucker would be my
Right.
first choice to be in the room with us. Love the guy, but it is weird. Like we have
It
a
feels
very
different.
like we're in our little.
I feel like
studio
I'm not
together.
ready to talk. To
I
you
know. I
guys.
feel like we're not even like doing a podcast right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just kind of talking to each other.
Well, it's good to get out of the way now. This is what training camp is.
That's right. That's right. We want that. We want it to be like high level. But
Yes.
by the way, just to clarify, they did not build this studio for us.
Well, we could have kept the ruse going for a little bit. I feel like we could have kept it going for a little
But
bit.
it is a pretty freaking amazing.
It's
studio.
awesome.
We're
And then the,
very
the
lucky
lights
to use
in the
it.
back. So
Yes.
we teased it last week. This is a debut. Hopefully it is streaming live on YouTube. That's what we're being told. So
Tucker said it is.
Tucker
So
says
if it is, and it's all his
so
fault.
people are seeing it.
Yeah.
And
Let Tucker know what you think. He can see
Yeah.
the comments. We can.
in all seriousness, get in the comments and let
Yeah,
Tucker know
I
what
kind
you
of know if it
think.
looks all right.
Yeah.
It sounds all right.
Yeah.
Again, feels weird.
It does feel weird.
Very cool.
So
I don't feel like comfortable. I'll
I
get
have,
there.
I
I'll
have,
get there.
yesterday we recorded, I had no final thoughts. Now I have two, I think, very good ones.
Well, you know that I literally
I know you've been holding it.
I texted Elliot over the weekend to tell him how excited I was about my
Yes.
final thought, and I saved it yesterday because I want to be in the room with you, even if it's a weird room for us.
Yeah.
Beautiful room, but
it's
weird.
just
to
new.
be,
And we're both creatures of
and
habit.
we don't like new.
But the tough thing is about this final thought, and we've teased it to death now.
Yeah.
The tough thing is, it's a little like, you know, when you get a Christmas gift and everyone's looking at you and it's like, let's see how he reacts.
Oh,
And
I see
everybody,
what
and
you
then
mean.
the gift is always like, oh, this is awesome. I've
Socks! I
been
really
wanting
wanted socks.
Well, like,
So great.
so I'm so excited for the final thought. I just hope I live up to
Yeah.
that expectation of what you were thinking it was going to be.
Well, ultimately, I want you to be real with me.
I always am.
So it's a fine. Again, it is an like an Elliot like final thought where you'll sometimes have like just like general things that you'll observe
Yes.
and think about, like be like, we don't talk enough about this, or we don't. It's one of those type of ones, but it's one that I think you are going to be on board with. I think you're going to feel like I am correct in acknowledging.
Well,
this.
I'll say this. By the time we're done the pod and we're at this final thought, I think we'll feel at home in the new
It's
studio.
true. It's true.
It'll be like a comforting thing.
It is
you
also
know?
very us to be in a new studio and start the pod talking about the final thoughts that are coming.
Yes,
at the end of the pod.
exactly.
It's good. It's
So I do have a Jalen Hurts thought for you. We obviously talked yesterday.
good. We're jumping in. Birds. That's what we do.
Yeah, unless you have
Go.
anything
No.
else. Yeah.
Talking Eagles. That's what you. Yeah.
So I was thinking about this yesterday after we were done recording. I should have brought it up. But I remember Jalen Hurts. I think it was his first training camp. There was a play where it was like 11 on 11. There was a few plays in a row, and he ran it like a few times. And at the end of one of the plays, I think it was Fletcher Cox, but it might have been one of the defensive linemen, was yelling in like a joking way, but like kind of not joking. Like, hey, you got to throw it sometime. Like, you got to throw it eventually. And I remember watching that and thinking like, all right, like Jalen has some work to do. And we talked on the pod yesterday about how good he has been. And I went and I compared the first 4 days of camp this year versus the first 4 days of camp last year. You're only getting that on Go Birds.
Oh, I mean, yeah, this is the official record.
Yes.
Like Elias Sports Bureau has been banging the door down for it. No, it's like, no.
Pro Football
This is
Reference
it.
hit me
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
first 4 days of camp last year, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72% completion percentage. First 4 days of camp this year, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions,
And none close.
none close,
Yeah.
and 80% completion percentage.
Yeah,
And
buddy.
what made me think about it was to think like, I was trying to put into words yesterday how good he's been, but I think we should take a step back for a second and just think about where he's come from. First year, he's like billed as some Taysom Hill 2.0, sold as a backup. You know, after college, it's like he'll never be able to throw the ball at an NFL level. His teammates are jokingly yelling at him like, you got to throw it eventually. To now, he's a $250 million quarterback. He's in practice, like just carving this up, like sitting in the pocket, rolling out when he needs to, like smart with the ball, surgical, all the throws. And we do talk often about how far he's come, but I feel like we normally do it in the regular season. I think this training camp is where he's kind of arrived as a practice player, or at least it just really stands out to me. To go from where he was to what he is now, it's we've said it before, we'll say it a bunch, but it's very impressive.
It's unlike anything we've seen, and again, I think it's because he's who he is, and that's the whole reason to believe. And again, as someone who we always talk about this. We like our victory laps.
Of course.
One of
Well,
our
who
things.
doesn't love a victory?
That's right. You know, as someone who was, one of the higher on Hurts in the Philly media or whatever, like who believed through the summer, all that type of stuff, like it was all about him, and it was all about this human and my belief into what he would be willing to do to put in of his time and his life and his effort and his thoughts and his motivation, all that stuff. Like, I just was like, everything he has is going to go into this. And I think that's why, like, he's taking those steps, but it is like, you're right. We shouldn't just kind of be like, oh, it's just Jalen. Like it is astounding
to go from where he was to where he is.
Astounding.
Now,
the time that he's done.
I will say, I feel like I'm jinxing him a little.
Nah, you can't.
I think I'm
He's
jinxing him a little.
He's Jalen Hurts.
So the Eagles are off today. Today's a Wednesday. They do practice Thursday and Friday, first time in camp, back-to-back days. I feel like I'm almost willing him into an interception with how good I'm talking about he's playing and his stats and everything, but yeah, that was just my thought I had off yesterday's pod. I wanted to make sure I say just the growth of like getting mocked, because what made me think of it too. Did you see the clip of Diggs yelling at Dak Prescott?
I did not. No.
So it's a red zone drill.
I saw the pick that
the pick is very ugly.
It's a horrible decision.
So
like
I can't
classic Dak move.
I can't tell if that's like so bad that he thought the receiver was cutting back, but it was
because it almost is like you want to. If he had,
it was like 7 yards.
If
short.
he had not put the ball in danger so much last year, I would give him the benefit of the doubt. I can't. But even still, like, I feel like it had to be a miscommunication. Like, 100%. You can't be that far. I mean, you're that far off.
So there was a clip that's come out since. It's, I always forget his first name. Trayvon Diggs. It's a red zone drill. Dak's rolling. He rolls to, like, I guess it'd be his right. He runs into the end zone. There's no completion on the play. He doesn't score. And Diggs runs up to his face, and people are saying this is what Diggs said. I can't hear it as well, but he calls Dak like 1, 2, 3. He gets in his face and he goes like, "What a bitch," or something like that, and just yells it right in Dak's face. Yeah.
So is that way? I saw people retweeting Diggs' stuff from Alabama, talking about what a leader Jalen is. And
oh, really? That's probably why.
Yeah, that's probably why. Dude, I saw like a bunch of tweets just like basically Trayvon Diggs talking about like Jalen Hurts, like the GOAT of people and all that stuff. That's really funny. I was wondering why. I was like, what's going on here? That's weird.
Yeah, he gets like right in his face and does it. So I do think Dak is set for a bit of a bounce back year. I think it'll be hard to have as many interceptions as he did, but as a big training camp matters guy, like it's not a good start. Not a good start for Dak. So I guess good for the Eagles' perspective.
Well, at least they have a head coach who really knows how to, set a culture and really
call plays.
Yeah,
it'll be. Doesn't seem to be going good in Dallas. So people can say like training camp, whatever, blah blah blah. Bottom line is you want good things coming out of it. And the vibes around the Eagles right now are very good. And it seems out of Dallas not so much.
Well, and everyone
what's his face is holding out.
It feels like Zach Martin, that whole thing, and we've it's like everyone I've heard talk, like we had Jaws on today, and Jaws
Yeah.
was down at training camp yesterday, and he's just like, these guys are good, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the vibe. Anyone I've talked to who's been down there, obviously we've had you on the pod, anyone I've talked to, like had on the morning show, whatever, like the Jaws type people, like it's just this like almost like this like vibe of like yeah, man,
Well,
like this is they are right what you think they are, like
So
are looking what you expect them to look like.
So I want to get into this today, but I think to start with that, like during training camp, I think often during training camp, you can get to it where it's like, oh man, their punter's a problem, or like, man, their third string defensive back is a problem, or the backup tight end. Realistically, those people are not going to have a big outcome on the season. And I think with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen, Goddard, Slay, Bradbury, all the defensive linemen, the offensive linemen, you almost just take them for granted at practice because you know they're good. And so there's no reason to continually say it. I've tried to over the last few days. But you're right. Like, and Jaws is right. When you step back, like if you were to go to every single training camp, I think you would leave the Eagles being like, okay, yeah, this is probably the best roster. Like the Chiefs, obviously, we've had this debate. You'd be impressed there. There's other impressive teams. But when you just take a step back and look at the Eagles, all 22 starters, like linebacker, whatever, they have a ton of talent. And that's definitely shown in the first few days. Like the offense has looked really good. There's been great defensive plays from the secondary. The pass rush has been good. Like Jalen has had time in the pocket. It's been a really nice combination, I think, of the offense looking good while also the defense like holding its own.
And to your point, and to what Nick talked, like we talked about a couple pods ago and have since, but the get it perfect thing and all that. Like Nick, and you've always said this, Nick runs a tight, hard practice. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm happy those clips came out.
Yeah, you've said that for years.
Yeah.
Like 2 years now, you've been like, listen, I know people aren't down there, but like this dude runs a serious practice. Like it is intense. Because Richie always used to give you crap, you'd be like,
I know.
You'd be like, "What, intense practice?" You'd be like, how long was it? You'd be like, an hour. And he'd be like, whatever. But like, I think that all goes to it. It's like not just are they super talented, but they're out there like practicing the right way. And, and I'm sure if you go there, it's like, wow, this is a tight, well-run group. And that matters so much, especially this early in the training camp. Like,
I mean, they could practice 5 hours and Richie wouldn't be completely thrilled.
I know. Well, it's so funny.
Well,
The best part about that, and it's Richie and others who were him last year, is they have just had to eat the L.
Yeah, there's nothing to
like,
say.
Richie is like, I was wrong. Like, there's nothing I could say. They had 22 stars in the freaking Super Bowl. They started 8-0. Like, all the things I talked about didn't happen. Like,
so
there's nothing I could say.
For your point of arguing for it, and anyone listening that ever has this debate with people, I think you can say 25 out of 25. The kicker, the punter, the long snapper.
Oh, that's a good point.
They're starters, and they were all healthy.
Like
and it helps your argument, right?
I like just adding to
yeah.
it. Those guys rarely get hurt. But
well, I'm just saying. And then if you really wanted to go further, their punt returner and their kick returner were
Look
healthy.
at you.
So I was just saying, week 1, 27 of 27 guys were in the Super Bowl.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. I guess let's talk about the Eagles while we fill time to final thoughts, you think?
Yeah, we'll
like
just
some
do
practice
some
stuff, and then we'll get to final. Okay,
yeah.
so final thoughts coming up. Don't go anywhere.
So here's the things I wrote down.
Yeah, I want to get to. So yesterday we just kind of reacted how great Hurts was, and then we did about the Reddick stuff.
Do you have any more Reddick thoughts?
We can get to some more Reddick. So let's get to what we saw. Like yesterday, we did not talk at all about your thoughts from practice, what came out, who's running with ones, who's running with twos, who stood out, certain things that could be interesting for position battles. Like yesterday was the first day they got pads on and played football. Like talk.
So all right, Quez Watkins talked yesterday, and he said after practice, and I'm paraphrasing a little, but like he thinks he's an elite wide receiver. Let me start by saying this.
Rein it in.
No, I like it. Like, you're a receiver. Have some confidence. You're talking to someone that says he thinks he could luck into a home run in baseball.
You're right.
No, if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to? I don't want Quez walking out on that field being like, no, I'm probably just a number 3 in the NFL.
So I need to hear the actual audio clip, how he said it, what he said. But my gut reaction, I generally, especially in that position, I do think you have to have confidence. I don't think you need to tell us your confidence in Philadelphia.
It's a fair point.
Like,
What's the benefit of doing it?
It's just going to make people mad, man. Like, that, if I'm an Eagles fan and I read you say that, like, ear muscle and everything, I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck you, dude. Catch a fucking ball in the Super Bowl. Like, that's what
the cursing hits different in the studio.
It does. I almost felt like I was like, wait a minute, can I?
I know. There's
like, am I allowed to curse? It's like,
different
I
on
can
video.
curse. It's my podcast. But I I get it. And I agree with your, I think you're right. I do want him to be confident and believe in himself and all. I think it's important. I think it's a mistake to say that.
So I think he's had a really good start to camp. And also, so that's probably why he's feeling himself a little bit. I also think, and there was a Go Birds listener that corrected me on this. I'm going to try my hardest to say it correct. It's not Olamide Zacchaeus. It's Olamide, I believe, Zacchaeus.
So that's what I thought this whole time.
Tucker's looking.
And I didn't want to jump in because you kept saying Zacchaeus.
And I said it confidently.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess it's Zacchaeus, but I thought it was Zacchaeus.
Okay.
So that's good.
He's had a bad start to camp, whatever his name is. Bad start to camp. He's not getting any reps with the first team. I think I have him down with 1 target with the first team offense. Quez, on the other hand, I do think has had a good start to camp. And like, I understand the mistakes Quez made last year stand out, obviously. The drop pass in the Super Bowl, the bad game against Dallas, Washington. Like, we know the mistakes were there. But he is the fourth option. And I think, like, he does stretch the defense.
Maybe a fifth option if you're like running back.
And if you really wanted to get into it, like Hurts, like he's basically, put it this way, he's the last option.
of the
guys,
starter
he's the last option.
I agree. Yeah.
So I mean, he had the big. He is. We had he had the long touchdown against Minnesota. I do think he stretches the defense.
He does. We've seen him, and again, like he was open, he just didn't catch it. Like
yeah,
he's got,
exactly.
Exactly.
And I do wonder. This would be a good thing to ask, like. I guess him, but just someone that's out of the league now that was a kind of a career third receiver, how hard it really is to run 30 routes a game and just never
get the ball to you
except once. Like, it's got to be hard.
Sure.
Yeah, I know it's his job and everything, but just throwing that out there. But anyway, so I think Quez has had a really good start to camp. And over the last 2 practices, I think he's been really good. He does make good contested catches in practice.
He always has. He always has.
I remember him killing the Jets in joint practice.
He's made some nice plays when he makes them. It's just, it's the mistakes that overshine those.
But so that was another thought I had yesterday is like, I do think the depth on this team is an issue. Last year, the team was so deep and so talented. But if you look at receiver, it's obviously the top 2. Then you feel however you feel about Quez. You can feel good, bad, whatever. He's played a lot. After that, there is nobody.
Well, it's not like they had a ton of depth last year, though. I mean, it's like Quez. Who was it last year? It was Pascal, who's probably better than Zacchaeus, but still, it wasn't like a ton of depth. Or at least more
dependable.
Yeah, Pascal's more dependable.
Not a ton of depth, though.
But look,
right.
if Quez is better than he was last year, then you're better at wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah.
But I agree. Look, I think especially wide receiver. I don't know if I go. I think offensive line, I feel pretty good about the depth. I know that there's some question marks.
So I don't feel good. And that's another takeaway I had.
That's interesting.
So Marcus Mariota.
So it was basically, point being that like there aren't, like outside of linebacker and safety, which we don't even like the starters.
Right.
I feel like okay about like knowing that, depth is a luxury in the NFL.
Yes. So receiver depth, that's a good point. You're right. Last year, they didn't really have a ton outside of that. Offensive line depth. This is another takeaway from practice yesterday. Marcus Mariota has been really, really bad. There's no way to get around it. He's bad. His accuracy is bad. He has 2 turnovers that are like 2 of the ugliest interceptions I've seen in training camp. Like nobody in the general vicinity. He's just been really bad. But here's what I will say. The backup offensive line is getting dominated by the backup defensive line. And maybe you should, like, that's to be expected to an extent.
The backup defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles
is good. Like Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham.
Else, is super talented.
Yes,
like, there's a lot of talent on that.
Yes.
And if we're talking about going up against guys who are not that talented and Jeff Stoughton's coaching them up. You know.
So I don't think they'll do this, but it would be interesting if they gave Mariota, like, a day with the starters just to
see what he has.
And I do think actually if they do that, that would be an indication they're worried about him, because then you're like, all right, you've been really, really bad with the twos.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you've been really, really bad with the twos. Let's see if I put you behind a competent offensive line, what you look like.
Are you a lost cause?
Exactly.
We need to find out.
Yeah.
It's a great point. And I don't know why teams don't do that more, especially teams that have a really. I feel like
Andy
every rep's
or Chip maybe.
Every rep's important. I get that, and you only have so many reps, especially nowadays on it. But like does Jalen Hurts missing 20 reps or whatever?
I agree with that.
Like
100%.
To the point where if Mariota does have to play, then he has some chemistry, he has some experience with these guys. Like it makes no sense.
Well, and here's the other part of it. This is the benefit of having a quarterback you believe in.
Exactly.
Like the last 2 years.
You don't have to, it would have been a thing if you did that. Now it can be like, hey, we want to see what Marcus and Casey ever has to, like, then it's like, of course,
100%.
It's such a great point.
I would be perfectly fine if they gave Mariota a day with the starters.
That's a really, I love that idea.
I wonder, maybe I'll ask Nick that. But like just to give.
You should. Ask him, like, why don't teams do this more? It seems like it would make sense. I know every rep's important, but couldn't you afford a few to get these guys some experience with players they might have to play with?
Right. So the benefit or not even the benefit, but for me, visually, the benefit of the offensive line being terrible is Mariota is a phenomenal runner.
He can move.
Like, he really can move. There was a play in the red zone yesterday where, like, obviously, like, Minshew never makes that play. They're probably 3 yards out. He rolled to his right, and he just, like, got in. Like, and then I think yesterday I had him down for 5 or 6 running quarterback run attempts. I don't think any of them were scripted, besides maybe the red zone one. But he is very impressive in the open field. The issue is I just don't think he can throw the ball. So the tough thing is it's an important part of it. Yeah. So they did give him a pretty decent deal where I don't think they're going to cut him.
Yeah, they gave him a fair amount of money.
And they don't have anyone behind him either,
like
right?
Yeah.
They don't have like a
Yeah,
real
they got
number
kids.
3.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably stuck with him. And, knock on wood, hopefully you never see him play. But yeah, Mariota has been bad. But I do think a byproduct of that is the backup offensive line has not been good.
And I get that. In terms of like, we've seen Driscoll play at a acceptable level in the NFL. Outside of, you're right. Like, if there's some young guy, Steen, we don't know if he's an acceptable backup in the NFL. And that's
Dennis Kelly's there now.
Dennis Kelly, though, that's a nice.
He's been
pickup,
well.
though.
He wasn't there the first few practices, or
but in general, he is someone who has played tackle in the NFL.
Right.
Like,
so Brett Toth, their backup center, has been really bad at snapping the ball.
Yeah,
there's probably been 3 or 4. Yeah, there's probably been 3 or 4. Now you would think Cam Jurgens would move
out. Yeah, there's a very unless it's like in the middle of a game, maybe they don't switch in the middle.
Right.
Like if
I'm actually wondering now if like Brett Toth is not going to make the team.
He may not.
Or Toth or whatever.
You're right. Now that we talk it out, I kind of just said they have the depth, but it's not as much as
it's
in
not.
past.
Yeah.
I mean, Opetta's still there, right? He's decent.
And who's the best backup offensive tackle?
It's really the tackles.
Kelly.
That's where my worry is, and that's why they went and got Kelly.
Yeah. And he has experience, so
that's an interesting point. I think on the the defensive line, you feel good about the depth. They got young talent there. They got upside there and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker, safety, don't feel good about anything. Period.
Right.
So actually, you're right. I think the depth. But I also think this is something for any NFL team.
Agreed.
Like, yeah.
And this is what I mean when you go from team to team. There's other teams that don't even have good starting receivers.
Exactly. Yes.
But
we feel really good about 22 guys.
Yes. But we
comparatively.
are the #1 Eagles pod. We do focus on the Eagles and like being out there, even tight end. I mean, let's look at the tight end.
Like
So
Jack
Goddard's
Stoll.
top top 3 tight end in the league. On
top 3,
certain
top
days,
4, whatever it is. Yeah.
Jack Stoll is just a guy.
He's a blocker.
Definition of just a guy.
Yeah.
Credits him for getting the NFL. He just is what he is. Tyree Jackson, you know how I feel about him. I
do.
don't have to go back on that. Yes, but he has trouble staying healthy. He's never really played in the NFL.
You can't count on him at all. Zero.
Yeah. Dan Arnold has been a bigger part of their offense recently, but I don't know, man. He's a journey guy too. Yeah. So I look at tight end, and especially with how much, two tight end can be a look for this team. It stood out to me in the last few days. Tight end depth an issue, wide receiver depth an issue, offensive line depth an issue. Linebacker depth is like...
Well, they don't have linebackers.
They don't even
linebacker
have
starters. Or
right, exactly. Safety depth, a bit of an issue. You can argue there you maybe have 3 ones you feel good about.
But solid about, at least. But none you feel great about.
Yeah.
Other than Sidney Brown, potentially. I know, like the upside of him.
And he's still running with the 3s.
He's a rookie.
Yeah.
Like...
Kayvon Wallace had an interception.
Great. Just hang around. Kayvon just...
Does any part of you still believe in him?
No, 0. Zip.
I'm
less than 0.
I'm at like 8%.
What's less than 0? Can you do a less than 0? Tucker's smart.
I think minus 1%.
Tucker says no. Tucker says no, can't do it. I will give a 0%.
Well, I think you could. Why can't you give a less than 0?
You get that, right? I was joking and asking.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, I know I'm bad at math, but...
But yeah, look, I think it's a fair point to say depth, but at the same time, I think, considering it's probably as good as any team's depth,
But I think the worry would just be like, this team was so healthy last year.
Yeah, and it's almost impossible to think that they will be as healthy again, especially considering how much more time they played last year and all that.
Yeah, so that was, I think, what the main takeaway from yesterday is just the depth is a bit of an issue, but, it's Jalen looking awesome. Here's another thing, too, actually. I wish I would have wrote this down.
Are you moving on from the depth?
Yes.
Okay, before you move on from the depth, where do you think Howie trade could happen? Because is that the kind of move everyone's like, Howie's got to move,
I still think it's linebacker.
So you think it's for a starter, not for depth?
Yeah. I mean, there could be maybe a depth move, but I think if there is a trade where he is giving up something,
you think it'll be for a linebacker?
Look, Nakobe is either the best player ever at keeping the ball away from him in terms of they don't even target his side of the field, or he just doesn't do anything. It's not even for bad. It's not even. It's like for better or worse. I never see him. There's corners where remember I think it was Patrick Robinson.
Getting the ball thrown at him.
No, I know. I get
drills
that. Right.
7-on-7s. There's nothing for a linebacker to do. Really.
Right, but he does 11s, and it's It's been last year too. I'm to the point with Nakobe where I don't even think it's a negative. I just don't know what to make of it.
Yeah. And look, even regardless, and I believe in Nakobe, but either way, like Nicholas Morrow, like they don't have any proven.
Right.
They have nothing.
Christian
proven
Ellis has been getting some first team reps. I mean, maybe Nakobe's. Well, you don't have to tell me. Like Christian Ellis makes plays, but maybe Nakobe's role will just be he's really good at calling the defense and he's good at like not making mistakes because he's football smart, so he's out there. But he's not going to be a playmaker. I don't know. Credit to one of the beat writers. I apologize who it was, but I think it might have been Jimmy Kemsky, brought this point up. I missed the play, or I didn't notice this part of the play. They had Nakobe blitz, and someone picked him up, so he didn't get pressure, I don't think. But I do wonder if they'll just blitz Nakobe. Because if he's too small to stay in coverage, and he's not the ideal size for middle linebacker.
Look, they're not going to play Nakobe Dean if he can't play. Like, I know that everyone, if they don't believe that Nakobe Dean can play linebacker in the NFL, he's not going to play. So
I don't know who else you would put.
I don't think they're going to put him out there and just blitz him. Like, they're going to put him out there and play linebacker in their defense, and he can either do it or he can't. You know what I mean?
agree with that. I agree with that. But I think what helps Nakobe too is like Sean Bradley.
Yeah.
What have
they have nothing.
They have nothing.
It is. I mean, especially for a team we're expecting to be great, it is like as deficient they've been in a position in years.
So I'm going to do my new 53 soon. I might only have him keep 2 linebackers. And just like they'll just promote from the practice squad every week.
Linebacker.
Yeah, I think that's the one position. So
I agree.
The other kind of like depth chart things, one position I do think they're deep at is corner. Now, they might just be deep in my eyes because like I like Josh Jobe, I like Mario Goodrich, like Eli Ricks I'm excited about,
like
Mekhi Gardner.
Yeah.
But to another team, these are guys I've never
played. 2
played.
great stars. They got Ringo. I mean, Maddox obviously. And they got Ringo,
Greedy Williams,
and Greedy, and McPherson. I mean, they do have dudes there.
Yeah, I think their deepest position is probably corner.
I mean, if you think that like those are all top 4-round draft picks, every single one of those guys that we just mentioned, so they're all 4th or higher.
Maddox has still been somewhat limited. He hasn't been doing a ton of team. I think he got out there for a few team reps, but he hasn't been doing a lot of it. Mario Goodrich got first team reps at nickel.
Wow.
Zach McPherson has been getting that. I can see the excitement in your eyes.
Oh, buddy. It's thrilling.
So I wonder if Mario Goodrich is on the team. Keely Ringo is still running with the 3s. So from a depth perspective, I think corner is their best spot. And I do think on the 53, that's probably where the most has changed. I do think Mario Goodrich has a good shot. And then Josh Jobe was also with first team.
And he played last year, times in special teams.
Yep.
There's a lot of factors to this.
Yeah, and Josh Jobe was on first team kick block. So that's always a good sign of so is Sean Bradley. So I think he has
it's going to be tough. The corner, you're right, man. The corner position is tough.
But that's why if I'm Howie, and this is something we talked about last year, but I think it's especially true this year, I'm not keeping 4 linebackers just to keep 4 linebackers. I would keep Trey Sermon on the roster over Sean Bradley, and then figure out the practice squad aspect of it.
Well,
and
the special teams aspect.
Yeah, you figure that out. But I do not think there are 3 linebackers on the roster that are the best 53 players.
Yeah, but you can't. You need at least one backup at the position. You can't.
Yeah, and you can promote them from practice squad. You get 3.
Oh, I got you.
None of these guys are going to get claimed.
Right.
Davion Taylor is still getting reps with this
unbelievable.
team. So
that is wild. They really, and again, it is funny how far Howie will go, or it's almost like a bit. He's like, "Oh, you think I hate linebackers? Watch this."
Yeah, watch how few I will put on this team.
Running backs. Oh yeah, wait, and then it's he trades for Swift, and it's okay, but
it all works out.
But it is pretty wild. All right, what else you got? What else stood out to you from? Actually, you know what? First, let me. We're in the new studio. It's a beautiful.
We are
thing.
in the new
It makes
studio.
me think of beautiful things, and you know what you need to have beautiful things?
Well, are you looking behind me right now?
You need money.
Okay, yeah, you do.
You got Windows.
I got Windows behind me.
You got Windows.
I got Windows behind me.
Because you can save money with Windows.
Look at the new shot. Ready? Look at Tucker. See those windows? You can see right through them. Crystal clear. Why?
Disregard the weird Twins jersey in the background. That's
and the Brooklyn jersey. But great win. It's not a Ben Simmons jersey, everybody, I promise. Great windows are great. And we all know that. We've learned about it.
Linguist over here.
Thank you.
He's kind of a writer.
Yes, it's my template degree hard at work. But we've talked about it more throughout the pod as we have welcomed Window Nation into the Go Birds family. You guys know the benefits of having great windows. Keeps the cold air inside. You can wear sweaters when you're inside, which are way more comfortable than wearing t-shirts. When it's hot, it keeps the heat inside. You can wear more comfortable clothes. You're not bundling up with too many sweatshirts inside. And now with Window Nation, you can get great windows at a great price. New windows from my friends at Window Nation. You can save thousands today. Get this. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Tell me when you're ready.
I was watching on the screen.
It's distracting, isn't it? It's been my view the whole time. No money down, no payments, and no interest for 2 years.
And it's unbelievable.
It's like the trifecta.
It doesn't seem like a real offer. Like
Well,
it seems like something where it's like I almost want to go to Window Nation and say like, are you guys going to be okay offering this? Because this is like way too good.
But the other part of it is, I guess you literally pay nothing for 2 years.
It makes no sense.
You
Like,
get the windows today.
I don't get it. It's too good a deal.
Think
Take
about how
advantage
much
of it.
money I'm going to have in 2 years. I won't even feel the windows.
That's right.
Plus, get
I'm going to be a
50%.
billionaire in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That,
Yeah.
buddy.
Especially with this new studio.
It's all right. They built it for us.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Plus, you get 50% off all style windows, bows, bays, double hung, any style, you name it. You're getting 50% off all styles. So no payments for 2 years. Awesome styles. Wear your sweaters inside of your house. Call 866-90-NATION or go online to windownation.com. That's Window Nation. Window Nation. Go Birds. Window Nation.
Tell them we sent you.
Tell them we sent you.
And look, I'll do the boom, hello, camera.
Tell
See what
them
I
we
did?
sent
That was
you.
like called a
Tell
professional
them
move.
we sent you.
Tucker was all over it. Tucker clicked
Well,
that.
let me say
quick.
this. As someone
It was
that's
just-
seen the screen the whole time, Tucker is really utilizing
On it.
the cut
I'm
button.
very impressed.
It
I'm
is.
impressed.
It's good. I'm excited to go
yeah.
back and watch this.
Yeah, I love you, Tucker. You're the
Tucker, are
best.
there any comments, by the way? Have you looked? You're allowed to
give
talk.
him a sec. He'll look.
Yeah.
Don't you dare turn your mic
Yeah.
on. I'm
Your
very.
mic's been off the whole time.
I'm
Oh,
very
we addressed your
anti-
name. Yeah,
I'm
you're-
very anti-producers talking. In
Yeah,
any
I was
way,
gonna say, if
shape,
there's
or
anyone
form.
at the
Very
station
against
doesn't
it.
like-
I don't think they should be able to shut their mics off.
Well,
okay?
that's your stick, right? Like that's your thing.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. Yes, that's what I do. By the way, save all this money with the windows, and we're going to get to comments in a minute. You can comment on some gambling bets because you can win some freaking money
Yes.
with the beautiful Bet Parks Sportsbook Casino app. I've been so much fun lately betting on the app. I know I keep telling you about winning money in in-game baseball, and you know what I keep doing? I keep winning money.
Well,
betting in-game baseball.
yesterday, I was thinking about this. Phillies down 1-0, basically the whole game.
A live bet.
Come back. Yeah, dude, they were
Bang.
like, yeah, it was good odds.
Yeah, they're probably plus 800, plus 1,000 by the
Yeah.
ninth inning, you know, and like they're only down a run. Like and this team always comes back. Like
I think
that's
26
the thing.
times
That's
now.
the thing. Honestly, it's a great point, Elliot. We watch these Phillies games every night. Like bet on these Phillies when they go down. They go down every night, and then they win a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like that is
Free
a
money.
There are real opportunities. Again, it's an awesome thing. Also, I've had a lot of fun just going and being like, oh, you know, who's gonna get a hit tonight? Bang, money. You know, who's gonna get a home run tonight? Bang. Not money as often, but it is fun to bet on it. And when you
Sometimes
do
money.
win it, what
Yeah.
a thrill! Guy hits the ball at the ballpark. You're like, I just won money on it. It's amazing. I'm not the best at guessing though. Much better at the live
also-
game betting. But
I have a futures for the Women's World Cup.
whoa, buddy,
I thi-
stop the presses.
Yes, everyone get
Uh-oh.
ready.
Get ready. Here's
I think
Elliot's
people-
official Bet Parks soccer bet.
Yes.
Here we go.
Not often you get to bet the women's soccer United States team as like the third place. Normally they're the heavy favorite. They've been the heavy favorite so far in this tournament. Didn't play well against Portugal. I know people are a little down on them right now, but they're plus 450 to win it all.
Oh,
They've
that's
won the
crazy.
last two. Like plus 450 is enough of a bet for me where I don't need to parlay anything else.
I actually
like,
might
I'm
just
getting out
bet
of bed
that.
for plus
I'm
450.
probably gonna bet
yeah,
that.
and I think they're like gonna get some time off now. I think they'll wake up.
I actually might pay attention, which would be nice.
Yeah.
You know, I've not done that yet, so that'd be good.
well, it would be it's a good excuse to watch a game.
You're right.
Plus
Honestly.
450. I like it.
And that's it right there. What Elliot just said is the ethos, the heart of what I believe and what we
Right.
believe, and why the Bet Parks app is so much fun for us and why we enjoy it so much is because like we watch sports. It's
We
way
watch
more
sports.
It's way more fun to watch these sports when you have money on it. Like it's just a fact. If it's not a Philadelphia team, I'm not going to care as much unless I have money on
Yeah.
it, and then I can put money on it, and I can like really enjoy myself and really care. It's the best thing, and here's the deal. And obviously, you can bet on same game parlays, teasers. Of course, we're talking about in-game betting. We're talking about betting on player performances, future bets. Elliot mentioned the soccer one. There's great football future bets. We'll talk a lot about that over the next couple of weeks leading up to the season as well. But here's the deal: all new users, if you bet $10, you get $125 in sportsbook bonus if your first bet's a winner. BetParks.com has the terms and conditions. It's a great deal. New users are winning bets only. Sports bonus bet. Must be wagered once. See website for details. You must be 21 and present in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Ohio. Gambling problem. Come on, Andrew Gambler. All right, back
All right.
to the birds.
So I have one more big picture Eagles thought. Then I want your thoughts on Kelly Green.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't get mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that's what I got
Okay.
left. And
Okay,
then
good.
You can
good,
hop
good,
in.
good.
All right.
Where are we at? Can I, you know what, I'm going to do something.
You
I
don't
know-
have the time wise.
So, again, Inside Baseball.
Exactly.
I'm normally the one who records it. You know, I'm the of the two of us, the
Yeah,
audio
you
guy.
see the part of
you
it.
do all the like any writing that
All
has
the
to
takes,
do, all
yeah.
the takes. You know, I mean, like we've like
Right, yes, we have our own roles,
that we do.
yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, like video stuff. You've been and Tucker obviously now, but you've been like way in front, like all
Yeah,
that.
now
stuff.
I even have to do that.
Like, you're the
I'm
one who
just-
set up the our computer, but I do like the editing and the audio portion of it. Like
Yes.
that's my role when we do these things. And now Tucker has
Let's
been
guess how many
awesome.
minutes we're at.
That's where I want to go with because I always know exactly what I'm always like.
Yeah.
I'm like on it. Like I almost didn't even know when to go to the reads. Like the whole thing. I'm really thrown off here. All right, let's guess.
33 minutes.
33 minutes.
I can't see, just to be clear.
I was gonna guess 27 minutes.
Ooh. 34 and a half
Oh,
there we go.
well
there we
done,
go.
dude.
Thank
Well
you.
done. That
Thank
was
you.
really great.
Thank you.
Now the
yeah.
question is, we were bantering a little before. So like, what time did the pod actually?
Nah, that was only on for like a minute,
it
maybe.
was
If anything, that
probably
means
more.
I'm more, right?
33 is a good.
All
one,
right. Here's my big picture Eagles thought.
Okay.
I think DeAndre Swift is clearly going to be the number one running back on this team.
Love it.
I think that he is so far ahead of the other running backs as a receiver, while also combining running. Like Boston Scott can catch the ball why can't I think of the name right now? Out in the flat. Kenny Gainwell. Kenny
That was a tough one.
Thank you. Yeah. Kenny Gainwell, also good catching the ball, but I think DeAndre Swift is a considerably better runner than those two. And they've thrown the ball to Penny a few times, like very short passes.
Yeah, he's
I think
a
he only
runner.
has 2 or 3 targets.
Yeah.
He just doesn't really do it. Trey Sermon has touched the ball a lot with the first
You've
team
been
offense.
high on him.
Yeah.
You've been all in on Trey.
I would keep Trey Sermon on the roster.
So you would keep 5 running backs.
I just think he's one of the best 53 players.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, their running backs are no sure things.
No,
Like,
you're
this
right.
is
You're right. Injuries, all that stuff. Yeah.
The tough thing is having 5 on the 53.
That's
it's
the
a
issue.
Big
But I
commitment.
do think, to your point, I think like let's put it this way: if Penny and Swift went down, I think Sermon has the best chances out of 3 to like actually have a great year.
Yeah, exactly. Like to pop off. Like
To
I think
pop off.
Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott are really good role
Nice players.
I don't
I'm
think
happy
their
with it.
ceiling is
Exactly. You can't like they're not your main running backs for the year.
So when you look at Swift, he's not running it as much with the first team offense, but he's getting the ball thrown to him so much more. He's going to be out on the field, I think, more than these guys. So a lot of people, I'm sure you get this too this time of the year, like fantasy advice. It's so hard with the running backs to say what they're going to do. Because I could picture a world where Swift has the most touches in a game, but Boston Scott gets the carry from the 3-yard line or Penny.
Yeah, with Hurts too. with
Yeah,
fantasy
exactly.
and
So
stuff,
I think
too.
it's tough to pick a good fantasy running back. But I do think Swift is going to lead this team in touches and snaps. And I think it could be by a somewhat considerable
wow.
margin.
All right, that's a pretty bold. Like
I can't remember if I said this on the pod, but he had a super nice catch. Did I talk
you
about
did
this?
the one-handed catch. Yeah.
Like no other Eagles receiver no other Eagles running back is making that catch. So Swift, I think, has been impressive. He looks good in the open field. He's fast. I think they've also given up the most for him. I mean, they gave up a somewhat decent package of
Yeah,
draft
they gave up
picks.
fourth
They
round
gave
pick or
Penny
whatever.
almost no money.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon, you could argue they've invested the second most in just by keeping a roster spot on him all last year, despite not playing. I mean, Kenny Gainwell, I think he was a 4th round pick, maybe 5th round. But the more I watch them practice, the more I think it's pretty clear Swift is their number one back.
Wow. All right.
Will-
I mean, look,
will-
that's
will
what
he
I
be
would.
like-
That's what I would have expected.
Will
like
he
if
be 150 touches above the other person? I don't know about that, but I'd be willing to take a bet if this is on the Bet Parks app. If all the running backs stay healthy for the whole season, Swift has at least 100 more total touches than any other running back.
Yeah, I think that Penny's the wild card with the stay healthy thing. Like if he actually stays healthy, who knows what could happen? He could just be such a great actual runner of the football that he gets touches right closer. But I think because of the passing game, I think Swift will lead.
Yeah.
In
Well,
touches.
especially on 3rd down, like Swift will be their 3rd down back because he can catch the ball. Especially if like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, like 3rd and 1, maybe not. But in 2 minute, I think I could see him being the running back.
Is he
in
a
2
good
minutes.
blocker in the passing game? Because that's
good
the
question,
only
actually.
reason I could see him not being on the field as much. You know,
Right.
They
I don't know.
Trust him in
I'll
this
have
way.
to do some research on
Yeah,
that.
get on that. There we go.
A little something for me
work.
to do.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I'll have an answer for you on the
I
next
think
pod.
most Eagles fans expect and want DeAndre Swift to be the top guy of the group.
Yeah, and I think, look, Penny is a good number too. 23 is a good number.
Look, there's a
but
ton of
zero's a
upside.
pretty like you are going to be playing quite a bit number. It is. You gave the first 0 in franchise history to someone that's the 3rd running back. Like that's not going to happen.
I love that take.
It's true.
Yes, they let him have number 0. That means he must
Yes.
play.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. I like that a lot.
So that's a good transition to Kelly Green. Unless you do, well, let me ask you this. Do you have any other roster questions? Any other?
It's a great question.
things you've been
No,
thinking about?
as far like we talked
The
about Reddick
punter, I
before.
wish I had a take for
There's
you, but-
nothing really I have to say about Reddick. They didn't say yesterday.
Oh, I have a question actually.
Mhm.
So you were on the morning show this morning.
I
I'm
was.
guessing the Reddick thing came up.
It did.
What was the reaction? Did you get a lot of callers on it, or was it like a?
So we were talking Phillies mostly because
That's
of
what I
trade
would
line,
think,
but we
yeah.
did bring it up, and it felt like the reaction was more. You signed your contract, play it.
Okay.
Than what we expect. I expect more people to be like, I get it. was more people saying, you know what, you signed your contract, you made a commitment, like honor your contract, which is, you know, whatever.
Right.
But it was more of that than I expected.
Okay. That's where I feel like yesterday we kind of leaned.
We thought it would lean that way.
Yeah.
But we thought there would be on both sides, which there was.
But that does make me think if he were to all of a sudden like leave camp,
it might not go great.
People
for him.
would be pretty mad at
I
him.
don't think it would go great for him.
Yeah.
I think people would be mad at him for ruining chemistry. Ruining
Yes, and then you have a
team.
chance to win a Super Bowl.
I think
blah, blah.
I don't think the public would be on his side.
Agreed.
Yeah. Which sucks for him because like that's something you need. Like if we're and again,
Yes, you have to. The way to get paid as a player is for everybody to be pressuring the team. Into
yes,
bank, yeah.
exactly. You know, and so all right, Kelly Green.
Yeah. Well, so let me first.
Yeah.
I've become like the Eagles like HR rep for these Kelly Green. People are, and I love it, but people are in my DMs like, hey, do you know they have an extra large at the pro shop? Like, hey, do you know when they're going to be restocking the 130 mediums?
That is hilarious,
Goddard?
That is
And
hilarious.
I honestly, I'm not even kidding. I might drive down the pro shop today and take inventory, see what they have. I legit might do it.
That
And
would be the funniest thing you've
and
ever
just tweet
done.
it out. And
That
like,
would
you know,
be the funniest thing you've ever
yeah.
done. That'd be
Like
great.
there's caller, like there's listeners like asking, and I want to be helpful.
Yeah.
But because did you see that now if you order them online, they're not shipping until like mid-October.
What is that
Late
about?
October.
So, like, that's outrageous. Is what that like? How do you not go into this knowing the demand that's going to be there for Kelly Green?
So I'm a little numb to it because Messi on Miami, his jersey just came out, and they're not shipping till mid-October. So I had already seen the mid-October thing, but I agree with you. Like,
I mean, the Messi thing, it's also like that was decided like a month ago. He decided to go there and stuff. Like, we've known this Kelly Green thing was happening for months.
Yeah, I agree.
Months.
Yes, I don't know how you do it. I know there's high demand, but like,
You know what's going to happen.
and this is what I'll give the Eagles credit for. This is why I want to go back down to the pro shop. I think everybody that went that day to get a Kelly Green jersey got a Kelly Green jersey. Maybe you didn't get the exact player you wanted if you wanted more of like a niche player, but I bet everyone that wanted a Jalen Hurts got a Jalen Hurts. Everyone that wanted Kelsey got a Kelsey. And I talked to the Eagles and shout out, I don't know if I want to say his name just because I don't know if he wants me to say it, but like I know that the Eagles like made an emphasis of like, if we're gonna have people come to the pro shop,
we're gonna
have a ton of inventory.
Well, it's not surprising. Like this
No,
organization,
I agree,
does
yeah.
everything right like that. Like especially like I mean they've been done everything around on the field and moves.
Yeah.
But like we've talked about, even when they were the disaster at 11, like off the field, the Don Smolinski side thing, all that
Right.
stuff. Like
Lurie,
they are
yeah.
elite. Yeah, Lurie, they are elite at it, and have been for a very long time.
Like when I was there at the opening day, they weren't even the shelves never even looked empty. Like as soon as it even started to get back a little, I'd see like a worker coming through with like 40 jerseys to hang back up.
Wow.
But anyway, so what do you think about them? You've seen them in person now.
Yes.
Any thoughts? Like player, different types?
So they look awesome. They look
very
like,
good.
They look like the Kelly Green jerseys. Like they're very cool. I always wanted Kelly Green back, but I'm not like someone who's like, like
Yeah.
I think it should say midnight green. Like that's,
I agree with that,
That's their
I think,
color.
yeah.
Like I love it as an alternate, twice a year. That is like perfect.
Do you like
This
it
is-
better than the black jersey?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. This is perfect. Like it's my childhood. Like
Yeah.
I
and
love
the pictures look really cool.
it all looks cool. It's super cool. It's my childhood. It makes me like feel nostalgic. Like
Yeah.
when I see it, like it's neat. Like it really, it's how I fell in love with football in those uniforms.
Well, I remember you watching them at Franklin Field.
That's right. Yeah, and watching and Tommy Thompson,
Exactly,
running
yeah.
and making throws.
You and Ray
blind
hanging out with,
quarterback, Tommy Thompson.
yeah.
So I think they look awesome, and I think the Eagles did a great job getting them back. And shout out to Jeffrey Lurie. It's been like a passion project for him to make it. Which
Helmets look good.
the weirdness to me was always like, are you kidding me? Like. The helmet is the reason you can't do it. Like
I know, it made no sense
dumbest,
whatsoever.
but most asinine excuse ever. But whatever. Shout out to Lurie for pushing and getting it happen and all that. In terms of jerseys,
Yeah, like you've seen them like.
I think there's a clear top three. And I
Okay.
think you talked about this, and I just think I think some things are just fact. Some things are like, opinions.
Don't overthink it.
We give opinions here. We give takes. Whatever. This
Right.
is just a fact. Like Kelsey, Graham, and Hurts are the top three jerseys. Like that's it. Like the discussion over. Everything else is below it. And there's some great jerseys. That's it. That is your top tier. If you want to get one that you can feel confident
Oh,
about.
I agree with this. Yeah, 100%.
Those are the top three.
Those are the ones where you will never regret that decision.
You'll never regret.
You'll
it
never
will
regret
never
it.
go out of
Yeah.
style.
I think the next tier for me would be the,
Devontae?
so I've come around on the Devontae.
Thank you.
Before I saw
You
it,
didn't
I
like
was very
6.
like, I've seen maybe it's just the times I've seen people wearing Devontae jerseys. I think sometimes the 6 just looks silly on big people, but
It works.
it works on, like I've seen the 6 on kids where I'm like, all right, like that looks better.
Yeah.
But like on the Kelly Green, seeing it in person, it looks awesome.
It looks fly.
And it's a fun player to have.
Yeah. I you know how I feel. I think AJ's up there would be one
Goddard,
of
I've seen looks awesome.
88
is a great number,
and 88,
great player,
you think
exciting
Pete Jackson
player.
too at that, which like, you think of like the old school guys.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun one. I agree. All right, so what are the other ones? Because I really, my only take
My
was,
lot is out
my
there,
only take
Reddick.
was the Hurts, Graham, Kelsey one. Like that's really the only thing I feel strongly about. I'm not
Yeah.
a big jersey guy. Like if I got one, I would get one of those three and that would be it. And I'd be
So the other take I would say I've had since I did my 20-minute pod breaking this down.
Since you became the face.
Yeah,
of
since
the
I
Eagles
am the
green
official
jersey.
sales rep of
Yes.
Is I do think with jerseys, like you want to go big and oversized and comfy so that you can wear hoodies under them. That's my take. So I would say if you're listening to this pod,
That's a good take. I don't. Again, like especially if you're going to games. That's a good take by you.
Like if you're listening to this pod,
I like that. That's Elliot. Well done.
Thank you.
That's a strong take.
My
right there.
advice on this would be go a size up.
Yeah, because like a jersey by itself, I'm not a big jersey by itself guy.
Well,
I like that.
I am.
Oh, I know. It's literally every day
yeah,
of your life.
Yeah.
I will say, I think kits are different.
Kits are different.
I don't consider a kit a jersey. A kit's
a
like
shirt.
a shirt.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, it's like a smooth shirt.
But I think,
but like a jersey is like a jersey. Like you're wearing a jersey.
And I think if you're still debating, it seems the official Go Birds choice is the Jalen Hurts #1, a size up so it's comfy and you can wear a hoodie under.
Yeah, or Kelsey.
Or Kelsey, but I think we would both agree if you had to pick one.
Yeah, number one.
That's what I mean.
I mean, the guy's going to be the best quarterback in the history of the franchise
There
when it's
it
all
is.
said and done.
There
So, no big deal.
No big deal. All right.
Have we wasted enough time? Can
Has
we do
the
final
moment
thoughts?
come?
Have
Has
we
the
done it?
moment come?
Okay, great. I'm so excited about this. Okay. So you have two
I'm,
final
nervous.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you want to do one and then I'll do, or do you want to?
I'll save one.
Okay.
I'll save one.
Okay, you're going to save one? All right. So
All
want me to go first?
I mean, at
Pressure's
this point,
on?
yeah.
Okay. So again, warning the listeners. This is this is one of those, like, it's like, so there is a response. There will be a portion of listeners like, yeah, idiot, sure.
Okay.
You're like one of those where like sometimes,
Yep.
but like, I think you will feel me on this. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
This is I don't think we give enough credit to this thing.
Okay.
And maybe we do. And maybe I'm wrong.
We're about to find out.
I don't think we give text threads enough credit.
I like that.
I think the text threads are truly one of the great things that has happened in my lifetime in terms of like.
So you're talking about group chats.
I'm talking about group chats.
Okay, yeah.
Text or group chats.
Yes, like multiple people.
Like
yes.
they keep my friends together. They keep people
100%.
I have things like that matter to me. Like that my little brother and his two best friends who are like my two little brothers. I've known them since they were like kids. Like
Right.
Like we have a thing. It's Tressway Markets after the punter on the red on Washington because it was a dumb joke one day and it became Tressway Markets. His name and it's Tressway Markets for like 10 years, 8 years, or whatever. And like it matters to me. Like these
Yeah.
things like are like a joy in like our baseball guys. You, me, and Jack. We talk about it all the time. Like it's one of my favorite things. Like I don't think we talk enough about like how meaningful and important text threads are in this
of
world
all,
today.
You nailed it. This is something I.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
this
knew.
is,
I knew it. I felt so confident.
This is right up my alley.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So
I
here-
thought of you the moment I
I have
thought
so
of it.
many thoughts.
Thank
off
you.
Of this.
I knew you would. I'm so happy. Yes.
First one
Yeah.
is like, all right, take the baseball chat.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking today for some reason. I was like, man, me, Jack, and James haven't hung out in person together in a really long time. But what's crazy is it doesn't feel like
doesn't
that.
feel that
because
way.
I'm in constant communication with you guys.
Yeah, totally.
So to your point about a group chat, I have a group chat of me and 3 of my other friends, and it's probably honestly like 10 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And like my best friend Alex is in it, and then my other 2 friends, Nick and Isak. And I just don't see Nick and Isak a ton. One lives in Denver, one lives in Texas. I just don't. I see him probably like once every 3 years, once every 2 years. Need to see each other more, but whatever. But when I got married, I was like, honestly, like I put them in my wedding, and I think without the group chat, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it's been 10 years of like, I talk to them at least 2 or 3 times a week of like just like a funny text, a funny like tweet or whatever, like basketball. And you're so right. Like it's literally like having every single friend in your pocket.
Yes.
Like think of how much we don't take into account. I can talk to anybody I want like right now.
Yeah.
And it does. Like when you have a group chat. So I'm in a group chat called the Needle Nest. And it's like me and 3 of my really
And these
good
names,
friends.
like the names are
Exactly.
fun. Needle Nest,
Well,
Crossway Markets, baseball guys. Like that's another.
I
fun
do
part of
think
it.
like once you have a text
Oh,
thread,
you have to stay with it.
well, but I think once you name it, like that's it.
That's what I mean. Oh yeah, you have to stay with the name.
Like, so I'm not even exaggerating. In this Needle Nest chat, I would guess there's probably 500 text messages sent a day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
I
it's just
believe it.
nonstop.
I
Like,
believe
to the
it.
point where when I pick my phone up, I expect to see something.
Like 60 on there or
Yes.
something. Like that. Yeah.
So,
sure.
but here's why I think we relate to it so much. And why I think like my brother, who's 21 now, I'd be curious. I'll be asking him like if he does it a ton. Like, I think it reminds me of Instant Messenger.
Oh, I love that take.
You
That's
know,
a
like
really good call.
I used to just sit all the time at Instant Messenger and be like, talk to this person, and you see this person
different
log
screen.
in,
Yeah,
and like and like
yeah.
the screen and the door and everything.
Yeah.
It's like having
I
Instant
like
Messenger.
that.
Even the
It's
setup's
good.
the same with like
Yeah.
the names all in a row, and you
Little
click
dot,
and you go
yeah.
in and you come out. So I think that, excuse me, I think that's why it hits the most for us. It's because like it reminds us, like it's like having Instant Messenger in your pocket.
I like that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And again, it just is a way where it's like my, all my groomsmen at my wedding were all,
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
I see those guys twice a year, but like I feel like I see them all the time because we
also-
talk all the time.
It makes you not grow apart from people.
Yes, it keeps people together.
Right.
Like I really like. And again, I just don't think it's something we never talk about that. We're never like text her. Thank God, right? Like we never do that.
Right.
So that's my final
Well, and the
thought.
last thought, because I can't stop now.
I love it. It makes me
so
so happy. I'm so
last
happy right
year, my friend Alex had a bachelor party, and we created a group chat for all the people that were going. And like some of those people in there were some of my best friends in high school. And I frankly, probably because I wasn't in a group chat with them, I didn't talk to them very
Yeah.
often. But now the text has remained active.
Yeah.
And so people that I didn't like talk to or hear from in years, like I hear from once a week now. And it's only because of the group
Love
chat.
this. Oh, I'm
What a
so
take by
happy.
you.
Thank you. I was so confident you would be into
Yeah.
it, but still, in the moment, I'm a little nervous. I'm happy it worked out.
So my take's not as good, obviously.
Well, again, I hyped this one up. It's okay.
So here would be my take. And it's going to sound like a serious one, but I mean it in a lighthearted way. Like, I think going to the doctor is so underrated and so important. And I think sometimes, like, because it's optional, you don't think you ever need to do it. In the last week, I've gone to the eye doctor to get a new contact prescription, and I've gone to the dentist. Once a year, you have to go to the eye doctor to get a new prescription. But I had him dilate my eyes to, like, look in and, like, make sure everything was okay. I went to the dentist. Honestly, you going to the dentist was, like, the main thing where I'm like, I should really go.
I remember the
And, like,
conversation. I was like,
I
go
don't
to
have
the
any
dentist.
cavities, but shout out to me. But like, I think like the older you get, and I'd imagine in the age limit of the age group of the pod is, 25 to 35, 40, whatever, like that age. Like, you don't have to go anymore. Like your parents aren't like setting it for you, and it's easy not to go to the dentist. It's easy not to like, but I do think, and I think I'll speak for myself here. If you don't go for a while, you almost like convince yourself like, oh, I don't want to go because like I'm going to have a cavity and that's going to suck.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
there is no better feeling
Than
than
going and
leaving
finding- yeah.
and finding out everything is okay.
Well, yeah.
Like with a car, think about it with a car. If like there's something wrong or you think there might be, you always bring it right in. At
That's
least
a great point.
If my iPhone, if there's something wrong, I'm like, I need to go to the Apple store. But with my body, if it's like, oh, this feels a little weird or whatever, I'm like, well, I'm sure it'll all work itself out. But it's like, it's the most important thing. Like, so anyway, I'm big into going to the doctor now.
I'm proud of you, buddy. That's a good take. No,
I
hey,
told my
look,
dentist this, and she was a little like, "Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
like you
yeah,
should
I'm
go."
thinking about going to the dentist. I need to be better about the doctor, like in terms of like the yearly
Well, me
checkups.
too.
It's hard. Like
That's my
especially-
next step,
Especially
yeah.
to your point, because if you don't like notice anything wrong, if you're just like going,
And it's so easy just to cancel.
and
It's so easy to be like, oh, I
just
can't
not
do it
even-
next
it's like I'm
week.
fine.
Like,
It's a great point, and really an important.
it's
thing.
important one too. in all
It's
seriousness.
very important.
Yeah,
yes.
so maybe it's a good PSA for me.
it really is.
But I
yes.
also do think, just from a perspective of like,
well, it's
an enjoyable experience.
Well, it's at the end, yes.
Yeah.
The whole concept of, and I'm guilty of this too, but the whole concept of like the idea of like, I don't want to go to the doctor to find out something's wrong with me.
Exactly.
When if something's wrong with you, you should be going to the doctor.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
the
So-
worse
I
the
know.
longer you wait, the worse it is.
Exactly.
So,
But I get it. Like I get it. Like it's I think we all have stuff like
Right.
that. So
So
it's
anyway.
it's an important one.
I'm big on the doctor now.
Look at you.
Thank you.
I love
If there's any
this.
doctors out there who want to come check me out if that sounded wrong.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
That
it was a little weird.
I like it.
It was
though.
it was a little
okay.
joke.
You're
I'll say
feeling it.
this: I feel more at home in the studio.
I feel great now.
Yeah,
We're
it
good.
feels
We
really
made it.
good.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing
Tucker,
this, the Go Bird
your
thing.
thoughts on the maiden voyage in the new studio
You
for
can
us?
put your mic on if you'd like.
I think my mic is still on.
Okay,
I've
cool.
just
Good.
been really quiet.
You are good at being
exceptional
quiet.
at it.
Let me
Just
tell you that,
blending
yeah.
into the wall back
Yeah,
there.
it's
Yes.
like I knew you were here the
You're
whole time.
like the you're like the real life representation of the Homer Simpson GIF of you just backing
Going
into
back.
I
the
should get
budget,
like a
you know?
hedge back here,
Yeah.
make it look like Wrigley
Yeah.
Field.
I will say, and we can do 2 minutes of this. Looks like you really utilized the cut option quite
Oh,
well.
Yeah, it was good.
100%.
It was
We're
good.
cutting-
I'd be curious for
Yeah.
feedback of how people
Yeah,
felt.
let us
about
know,
it. Yeah.
everybody. If you watch YouTube or check
How do
out
you
the
think
YouTube
it went?
lesson.
I think it went fine. We stayed up the whole time.
Okay.
At the very least.
Now, a
it-
few times
You're
it
right. I
cut-
did not fall asleep, which was a worry. So
Yeah, it wasn't worth. It did cut to the Odyssey screen a few times.
That's just that computer.
Okay.
I think because I can turn that preview off as I point in front of the camera.
Well, here's the cool thing for the listeners so if you're still just listening on the pod, go to the 94WIP YouTube page, click subscribe. You'll get all these videos. I think there's a lot to be done here, like putting little things on the screen and all that. So anyway, continue.
we do share this studio though, so we do have to
Well,
be
but it is
conscious of
it
that.
is the Go Birds studio.
That's
I mean, I
true.
put these graphics up on Monday and they are still up. So
Exactly.
clearly no one
That's
has
what I'm
touched
saying,
it in
yeah.
48 hours.
Yeah,
our studio.
our studio.
We're claiming it. Everyone can ask us to use it if they want. They will not be allowed.
Run
it is
through
ours.
Tucker.
Yeah, run through Tucker. Tucker's in
All
charge.
right, so 2 thumbs up, Tucker.
2 thumbs up.
1.5.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Be interested to
I
hear.
Do I-
think-
here's a more important question. This is actually like a thing. Do I have to be like, he's Tucker, he's Elliot, I'm James?
Oh,
Like,
I don't-
like what do I do
honestly,
there?
no offense, Tucker, but we
Just stick with what it is.
I think
yeah. Sorry, Tucker.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, not yet.
Okay. We love you. I
think
like
that
that.
means one
What a
day.
good
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
well
yeah.
done.
Exactly.
With that.
Yeah.
He's Elliot, I'm James.